Hello everyone, welcome to Inconvenient Truths. I'm your host, Jennifer Zheng. In the past few days, the hottest news has been the Chinese spy balloon. Today, I will talk about some of my exclusive discoveries regarding the possible manufacturer of this balloon and other related issues. Then I'll talk about the possible intentions of the CCP to release the spy balloons and the bigger and more dangerous picture behind the balloons. So make sure you stick around till the end. We now know that the US government knew about the intrusion of the Chinese spy balloon as early as on January 28th, and when it first entered the US. During the first few days after it re-entered the US, it seemed that the Biden administration wasn't sure what to do with it. While the US was hesitating, some Chinese little pinks were celebrating it. This is an article on one of the main Chinese Weibo portals saying that we are capable of manufacturing balloons that can fly as high as 48,000 meters or 157,000 feet. And these balloons are manufactured by China Zhuzhou Rubber Research and Design Institute. And it is a pity that this time one of the balloons has drifted to the US. It has really found a good place to go if there are weapons mounted underneath the balloon. The key point is the balloon has flown over many countries, and it is highly possible that these countries haven't realized it yet. The article says at the end, in addition to the Trinity strategic threat weapons, weather balloons may be an alternative weapon. So I searched and checked the information of China Zhuzhou Rubber Research and Design Institute and found this shocking content. The company's introduction page says it is a government-owned military research institute with weapon production licenses. Its military supporting products were used in the Shenzhou 5 manned spacecraft and has won the commendation of the PLA's General Armament Department. It is a designated research institution for the weather balloons of all PLA military branches and the only professional research institute in the latex industry. It also has a Level 2 confidential qualification certificate for weapons and equipment scientific research and production. This means that it can have access to Level 2 confidential information from the Army. This is the established unit and staff information table of China Zhuzhou Rubber Research and Design Institute. It is on the first page on an environmental impact report of this institute and was downloaded from the government website with a website address of gov.gov.cn. It also proves that this institute is owned by the government. And this is a recruitment notice I downloaded from Hainan University's website. It says that China Zhuzhou Rubber Research and Design Institute is a state-owned company. It develops and produces military products. It's a designated research and production enterprise of the China Meteorological Administration and the Military Equipment Development Department of the Battlefield Environment Protection Bureau of the PLA, a key institute of China's National Torch Plan, key high-tech enterprise, and the Hunan Provincial Key Laboratory of Materials and Technology for Near Space Balloons, etc. I was completely shocked when reading these materials. You know, China's National Torch Plan is a famous high-tech military plan of the CCP and was the previously 863 program. Only the most important and high-tech projects can be included in the program, which is directly supported by the government. So I connected all of the information and published all the evidence in both English and Chinese language on my website on February 4th. You know what? 2 days later, that's yesterday on February 6th, when I visited the institute's website again, everything was deleted from the introduction page. Why do you think the CCP would urgently delete all the information there? Of course, because it has been lying about the nature of the balloon, saying it is a civilian device. But let me show you another government document from the CCP. It is a very old document, as old as 1970. It was jointly issued by CCP's State Council and PLA's Central Military Committee, saying that according to great leader Chairman Mao's teaching, to streamline the organization and reform unreasonable rules and regulations, the military Meteorological Bureau of the Central Staff of PLA and the Civilian Central Meteorological Bureau should be merged. After the merger, the two bureaus would still be called the Central Meteorological Bureau, but would be under the leadership of the PLA's Central Staff Department. Inside the military, the name of the military Meteorological Bureau of the Central Staff Department would be retained. So this proves that even if the balloon intrusion was done by a weather balloon, it is still under the leadership of the CCP's Army PLA. Now let's watch a short video I found and translated yesterday. It tells us the CCP's big ambition to take advantage of the so-called stratosphere that can give it many opportunities.
空间是指距离地面20到100公里内的空域。由于当代战机大多只能在距离地面20公里内的范围飞行，所以临近空间在很长一段时间内都是一片无人区。以美国为首的发达国家敏锐察觉到了它的应用价值，从上个世纪就开始着手打造临近空间平台。一旦搭建完成，它将在通信保障、情报收集、电子压制、预警、民用等方面起到极大作用。近年来，随着科技的发展，我国也对临近空间产生了极大兴趣。2015年，我国后来居上，成功首飞了自主压发的平流层飞艇“圆梦号”。圆梦号是世界上第一个具备持续动力的临近空间飞艇。在发射现场，它就犹如一只大白鲨直冲天际，吸引了所有人的目光。只要圆梦号飞行在我国上空，它就能全面监控中国境内的交通、火灾等事故，及时向警方提供必要的情报支援。由于它的高度比卫星低，所以监控质量比卫星强上10倍。我国低轨卫星最大的不便就是需要绕地球飞行，不能实时监控某个地区，而圆梦号就不一样了，它能24小时不间断地监控我国内部及周边的情况，成为高空保姆。而且圆梦号的飞行高度在20公里左右，这个高度气象条件相对稳定，有利于飞行器长时间航行。要知道，一般的防空导弹和飞机的作战高度都低于20公里，想打到它很困难。毫无疑问，圆梦号的出现对于我国国防安全有着不可替代的作用。除了作为早期预警、战时通信保障和攻击平台外，它还可作为空天飞行器之间的协作中继，弥补空天一体化的作战缝隙。
Well, did you notice the last few sentences of this video? The Near Space our airship has an irreplaceable role for our national defense security. In addition to serving as an early warning, wartime communication support, and attack platform, it can also serve as a collaborative relay between air and space vehicles, bridging the operational gap of air and space integration. Another interesting issue is while everyone outside of China calls the Chinese spy balloon a balloon, the CCP has been using airship or unmanned airship to address it. I heard the difference between a balloon and an airship is that a balloon doesn't have an engine and can't be controlled, and an airship has propulsion devices and can be artificially controlled as to where it goes. According to this People's Daily article, the Yuanmeng or Dream airship we just saw was jointly developed by Beijing Nanjiang Air and Space Technology Company and the Beijing University of Aeronautics and Astronautics. By the way, Yuanmeng is the pronunciation of the Chinese word Yuanmeng, which means dreams come true. Why did they give such a name to this airship? Because Xi Jinping often talks about the China dream. I guess to be able to conquer the world is part of the CCP's dream, and this airship is regarded as being able to help the CCP to achieve its dreams. According to a popular YouTuber, a Chinese language YouTuber Jiang Feng, the CCP started to develop stratosphere-related technology on full scale in 2014. Apart from the above Yuanmeng or Dream airship series, they have another series called Tianheng. This article published in December last year says that China already has two unmanned solar-powered systems, Tianheng and Yuanmeng, with external propulsion and other systems capable of flying and stratospheric altitudes. The article mentioned that China is experimenting with missile warning systems. In a 2019 academic paper published in the Chinese Journal of Astronautics, China's Tianheng airship design is mentioned. The paper says that Tianheng is an efficient, non-endurance airship. It can provide relay data for near-Earth orbiting satellites, perform Earth observation, wartime surveillance, missile warning, communication signal relay, etc. It is also capable of providing relay data transmission missions for satellites in near-Earth orbit or for vehicles performing Earth observation, wartime surveillance, missile warnings, and communication signal relay, ensuring the stability of communication systems without the need for multiple communications aircraft to carry out the mission. The article says for the PLA, such an airship has high-value military uses. It can play an important role in providing a platform for reconnaissance, maritime surveillance, communications, and data sharing over a wide range. Another advantage is that their altitude is much higher than fighter aircraft, and because they move slowly, it is harder to detect them. So their military value is much higher than reconnaissance aircraft. Lude Media just posted several pictures of the spy balloons. They have two airbags, the primary and the secondary. Each bag is double layered. These are the different structures of the balloon. They have a skeleton, propulsive system including valve control system and propeller propulsion, and energy systems, solar and lithium battery storage. And this is the schema of compressor components. Lude Media says, for the Chinese spy balloon to fly to the US, the accuracy of the wind field forecast and modeling data is an important prerequisite for the spy balloon to carry out autonomous flight decision and stimulation analysis, which applies multi-source meteorological data such as direct observation data, medium and long-term forecast data, historic reanalyzed data, and near-space forecast data, ocean and atmospheric forecast data for Asia, the Pacific, and the Americas must be available. The real-time data used in the spy balloon flight, many include forecast data and observation data, including high-resolution European Center for Medium-Range Weather Forecasts, the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration Global Forecast, U.S. National Center for Atmospheric Research, hazardous weather forecast, balloon autonomy observation data, etc. The elements, resolution, and update frequency of each forecast and observation are all different. It seems to me that Lude Media does have some internal channel to obtain secrets from the CCP. I don't quite understand all the techniques of the balloon, but feel like sharing these details in case they do have some value. The next question is, why did the CCP release the spy balloon at such a sensitive time just before the US Secretary of State was going to visit China? I think there are 5 possibilities. Number 1 is the CCP didn't expect that the spy balloon would be found and caught, as it had been sending spy balloons to different countries and areas for quite some time now. So far, so good. They hadn't encountered any problems. Number 2 possibility is the CCP believed that even if the US found out, they wouldn't say anything. They would let it go and pretend nothing had happened. As a matter of fact, the US government did plan to let it go in the beginning, before this affair was exposed by the media. Number 3 possibility is the CCP purposely released the balloon to test US response and to gain more leverage when talking with US Secretary of State Blinken. They wanted to find out how the US would react and how fast it would react. If the US let it go without saying anything, the CCP would have more cards in its hand and bargain for more when Blinken visited China. Number 4 possibility is the CCP believed that the US wouldn't do anything. Then it can use this to threaten Taiwan. Don't expect that the US will protect you, so as it even wouldn't defend its own territory. For the CCP, the best result is that it can get Taiwan to surrender without fighting. The number 5 possibility is some other fraction inside the CCP wanted to create trouble for Xi Jinping to damage Xi's authority to rule, as they are tired of Xi and want to get rid of him. However, no matter which of the possibility is true, the big picture is the same. The CCP has been actively exploring ways to conquer Taiwan or maybe the entire world. The spy balloons are really a wake-up call. Some people keep saying that there is zero possibility that the CCP will attack Taiwan, as it has zero chance to win the war. Perhaps this is true if the CCP thinks and acts like everyone else in the world. But the problem is the CCP doesn't. If it adopts its well-known unrestricted warfare, it is hard to say whether it has a chance to win or not. Let's talk about those high-altitude balloons or airships. If the CCP has already produced thousands of them, and they can carry weapons, bioweapons, nuclear weapons, and they can drop these weapons anywhere they like, and use this ability to stop other countries from being able to defend Taiwan, and at the same time, they mobilize their own people inside Taiwan to raise a white flag as soon as the CCP threatens war, and to say we'd love to be reunited with China. You Americans don't mind our Chinese people's own business. We are now one country with a united front. Then what can the world really do? Well, that's all for today. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't. If you are already subscribed, please like and share my content and double check if you are still subscribed. And if you could, please go to my website at jenniferzengblog.com. That's jenniferzengblog.com. Sign up for a membership or make a donation to support my truth-telling efforts. I always post my scripts with links to the material sources I use in my shows so that members can choose to read the scripts instead of watching the video to save time or to explore more and do their own research if they are interested. Thank you. See you next time.